the bottom line. I have proven this over and over again. The signal is there everywhere. People are not being haunted. People are not talking to God. People are not ascending. This is affecting everyone, just like any illness, to the degree depends on the individual. The mental health industry is a fraud and a cover for this, and you can't give me one fact to disprove any of this, period.
This man is seriously the...
We have to leave it there.
Look out for Charlie.
Okay, I'm going to go over some comments in this video, but stick around because ultimately I'm going to prove to you everything that I've been talking about regarding this acoustic network that is out there and is operating everywhere. So let's get moving on this. Let me start off by saying that about a month ago I released a video called the PSYOP Forecast in which I predicted something happening. Strangely, right after that, someone else released the exact same thing. Right afterwards, Alex Jones issued a false flag alert. So that's pretty funny. I know that it was afterward. I would guess it was probably a week or two afterwards. You can check the dates on that and verify it, but I found that pretty funny. So let's get into these comments that are going down. One day ago I released the video called I Finally Admit the Truth About Science, Experts, and Peer-Reviewed Work. In that video, I talked about the moon rocks that turned out to be petrified wood and how people were more outraged over fire in space in a Star Wars episode than moon rocks turning out to be petrified wood, or the fact that their augmented reality failed while they were using it and the guy was moving things thinking that it was showing up on camera and it wasn't there. Let me show you that again real quick. Here it is.
They aren't really there.
So right after that, someone comes along and they say, so what are they doing with the rockets that are supposedly going into space? I didn't cover that at all. I covered a moon rock that turned out to be fake and failed augmented reality. Do you see what's going on here? That's not going to work here, and I've told you this before. I never mentioned rockets in the last video, not once. This comment has nothing to do with the video at all. It's nothing but a bad attempt at throwing in your own subject, skirting every single subject in the video, and then trying to passive-aggressively say, gotcha. This is the definition of a modern straw man argument, and a bad one at that. So with that said, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to bite using your techniques and your rationale. So your question was, what are they doing with all those rockets that are supposedly going into space? Which again has absolutely nothing to do with anything that I said. And my answer, using your rationale and your techniques, would be, so where are the real moon rocks and why did these rocks turn out to be petrified wood? And then my second answer would be, so why would somebody need to be using failing augmented reality in a space video? And why would I answer with these questions? Because this is what I was talking about in my last video, not fucking rockets. So get out of here, man. And then somebody came along and said, I see that you're not taking my advice about a microphone. They told me that the clicks and pops were unacceptable, and they said, Google SM57, I beg you. For real. Not taking your advice about a mic? Okay, for one, I don't really take unsolicited advice. Two, I probably have a dozen SM57s in a box somewhere that I haven't touched in years, and when I use them, I never use them for recording voice. But the bigger reality is, these comments confuse me. You're talking like that you've been around here for a long time. Yet anybody who has been around here for a while knows why I have audio issues that vary from video to video. And I'll give you a hint, it has nothing to do with the microphone quality or the microphone. SM57s aren't my thing. I use Sennheiser microphones for most of my audio, and right now I'm using a microphone that is much better for recording voice than an SM57. The issue isn't the microphone, the issue is interference. The interference is so bad that there was a period where I couldn't even record videos. The interference in the air and coming from my wiring was louder than my voice, and I've shown that. It didn't matter whether I used a laptop, an external microphone, a PC, whatever. I have uploaded videos about this and showed exactly how loud this interference was. I don't need advice. If I was having audio problems that could be solved easily, they would be solved. Every cable and cord in this house has ferrite magnets all over them, just to do basic recording. I have shown how this interference will rise up, and will rise up when other noises are made. I've shown that in other videos. Here's interference from one of my older videos where I was showing this, and this interference was recorded and played back, and it was not boosted up. All I did was limit it at the peak points so that it wouldn't blow the meter out. So let's check this out. This is how loud the interference is in this house. And this varies from day to day. Some days it's really loud, some days it's a hum, some days it's high-end, some days it's clicky, some days it's poppy. But yeah, I don't need an SM57. Now, every time I release a video about the SWAT rat or this acoustic audio network, a comment is left on every one that either says that the voices sound like they are Russian. The comment will say, sounds like a Russian accent to me. Or somebody comes along and they say, sounds like an Asian accent. Same stuff every time. The voices that are recorded don't change. They don't say that it sounds like Dutch or French or anything else. They always say that it sounds Russian or Asian. That's very suspicious to me. It's almost like somebody wants people to think it's either China or Russia doing it. The weird thing is that they're voices, but it is pulsed audio. It really can't have an accent unless it's programmed to have an accent. So it's more like somebody is missing a big portion of this as they're listening. Or it's just being put there to throw people off and get them thinking differently. Like, oh, that's a human being. It's pulsed audio. It's modulated speech. And like I said, modulated speech doesn't have an accent, but this really opened up a door for me. And thank you for these comments, because I figured out a way to prove that these really are pulsed audio. Okay, in the last video about this, I showed you that there was a voice that said, they're in Michigan. Let me play it for you really quick.
They're in Michigan. They're in Michigan.
And before that, it has this weird word. I'm not sure what it says.
Hello. Hello.
Sounds like it starts with a C or a K.
Hello. Hello.
But they're in Michigan.
They're in Michigan.
Now, that is modulated speech. And how can I prove that? Well, I went to YouTube and I downloaded a couple of old Commodore 64 speech modulator or speech synthesizer demonstrations. This audio network is operating on a very, very low bit rate. And this is how it can always be up and operate quickly. It is never overloaded. It is running efficiently because it operates on very, very little. So let me show you a Commodore 64 demonstration of the old speech modulator. Here we go.
The Commodore computer is terrific.
The Commodore computer is terrific. Now here is a old Commodore reciter. Here we go.
Hello everyone. It sure is nice to be here today. I am Sam, the brand new voice for the Commodore 64 computer.
Now, this was 1982, 1983 when these came out. Let's listen to this Michigan thing real quick.
They're in Michigan.
It's just a little bit smoother, but it is a modulated voice, a pulsed voice. How can I prove this? Let's listen to the Commodore reciter say, hello everyone.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone.
Now let's zoom in on it. Alright. Look at that. Look at the waveform. It's right there and then it blows way up. Totally unlike a human voice, it jumps straight up to make its hello.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone.
Now in that video, that last video about this weaponized sound, I was showing you how strange the waveform looks when you look at it. Let me show you that again. So here, look at how strange this waveform is. You gotta really look at this. This is really messed up. So you get this pulse. See that? That is from the actual audio network recording. And you see it just start to come up right here. And then it jumps up. And then it starts forming the word. Okay? Now, let me show you the Commodore again. The Commodore does the exact same thing. It starts to come up, and then it fires straight up. It's the same form of communication as the Commodore speech synthesizer or modulator. Here is what I recorded.
Hello. The machine.
Now let's zoom in on that. Right there. Jumps up. The Commodore is the exact same way, doing the exact same thing. The waveform is almost identical. It operates almost identically to the Commodore. Look at this.
Hello. Hello.
Now look at all that modulation, all those pulses.
Hello.
Let's listen to the Commodore here.
It sure is nice.
So, sh or f pronunciation. Look, see that? That's sure. That is the beginning of sure. And then the SH part is more like white noise.
Sorry.
Now, let's go back to what I recorded. This is a F or an SH. And it does the exact same thing. And here is Michigan. This is the SH part. It's a more modernized version of a speech synthesizer.
Sure is nice.
Look at the sh.
Sure is nice.
Now let's go back to Michigan. The same amount of SH white noise. Now I showed you another one in that last video about this, and it's a voice that comes in and it almost sounds like it says, "Who has to live?"
Who has to live? Who has to live?
Well, the live part at the very end is identical in its waveform format as the Commodore. Look at the strange waveform here. The way it forms, the way it goes straight up, comes down, down below. This is a speech synthesizer, and so is what I'm recording. It is not a real human voice, so not only does this prove that it is a synthesizer and not a real human voice, it also proves that it really can't have an accent unless you program it to have an accent. But this is very interesting. I'm going to get more into this very soon. I've got a bunch of tests to do, and I'm going to show you exactly how the waveforms are identical to speech modulators in every single way, speech synthesizers or modulators. This is pulsed modulated speech. It is nothing more. They are not human beings. When it echoes around a room and you record it, it sounds way more human than when you actually get straight to the signal and record it. When it's reverberating, it has a tendency to sound more human and can even fool somebody than when you are getting straight at that signal and boosting that signal up. It sounds more robotic and artificial than anything. So yeah, this is something that accidentally somebody brought it up, and I was like, hey, wait a minute, I can actually use this to prove two things. One, that it doesn't have an accent, and two, that it is the exact same thing. Once I looked at it, I was like, well, I should have done this a long time ago. This is identical to modulated speech in every way. The waveform is the same. Again, this is what I recorded in open air, no antennas, and this is a Commodore modulator from 1982 or 1983, and it is identical in its shape and the way the waveform is formed. And that is it for now. Look out for Charlie.
We must fight to regain our freedom, or everything is lost. Everything!
Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
Look out for Charlie.